It is episode 38 of the Blood Satan Beers podcast. We are back. We're a little day late, but it's all right. We're here to talk about all the fun stuff, people drinking bath water, Nintendo Switch Lite, Jedi Fallen Order, all that fun stuff. But I'm your host, BloodThunder, joined as always with Saintmillion.
A day late and a dollar short. I actually have a beer today. It's a rare occasion.
One of the rare occasions. That means it's going to be a good show when we actually have a beer.
Special episode.
I do not have a beer, unfortunately. I just have a
Blood Saint and beer. Well, I technically have two beers here. I have a backup beer, so I got you.
Yeah,
we're all good.
My mouth's a little numb, so I wouldn't taste it anyways. I went to the dentist earlier for about 2.5 hours.
Oh my god! What's wrong with your teeth now?
Just got some cavities filling in.
It's because you eat all that candy.
Yeah, that's it. Also, I didn't have dental insurance for a long time, so it's like I didn't have a chance to go and get it fixed when I probably should have. So it's like now it's gotten worse, so it's like I have to go and kind of spend some extra time to fill it. But hey,
I don't blame you. I have dental insurance, and that shit's still expensive. Like I need to get my wisdom teeth taken out, but it still is going to cost me like $2,000. Yeah, with insurance,
and it does not go far. Dental insurance, like you pay a lot, and it's still a lot after that. But the biggest news coming out today, which I guess is nice that we can talk about it, because normally we would have recorded this yesterday before it come out, but the Nintendo Switch finally put out details for a Lite version. So,
oh my god, they listened to our podcast.
Yep. I don't know why they didn't show this off at E3 last month. It's kind of weird. I guess they're just doing final touches. It is what people are saying. The Joy-Cons are attached. It's like a PS Vita essentially, or a Wii U gamepad. Got the TV. It costs $200 and you can get attachments for it and basically make it like a actual Switch if you want, but at that point just buy a regular Switch because it's going to be cheaper. All the accessories are like way too much money.
It's weird. At some point Nintendo, I don't remember where I read it, but at some point they said that they had like a bunch of prototypes for like different versions of Switches, but they just weren't ready to be released yet. And I think there was feedback after E3 where people were like, "Oh, there's no new version of the Switch, and these new consoles are getting announced for other things." So they probably were just like, "Nope, here it is. Here's the box. Here's what it looks like. We got it." And it's like, "Oh, okay."
There's also been reports that they're doing, as they probably will, and we'll probably see it soon enough. I kind of thought the two announcements would go hand in hand, that they're going to have like an XL model, their bigger, beefier model that's
and stronger too,
maybe a little bit more costly. I know when this news broke early, people were like, "Oh, BT, you can finally buy a Switch. Here's the thing you've been waiting for." It's like, I was waiting for the other model. I'm waiting for the XL. I'm not looking for the Lite. So the Lite still hasn't convinced me, because if I wanted to Switch, I'd just go buy the regular Switch at the moment.
I'm in the same boat. I want the XL so the normal one gets dropped in price, hopefully. I don't know if that's how it works. I'm not a console gamer.
With this coming out at $200, I think the regular Switch is $300.
Yeah.
So we could see an XL come out at like $350 and the normal drop to $250 maybe. And then eventually XL goes to $300 or something like that. I don't know. But I thought the Lite and the XL would come out about the same time. But I guess that's maybe not the case.
Yeah, I'm not super into handheld only. I don't like handheld gaming personally. I want to play it on my TV or my monitor. Like, could play it just at my desk. That'd be great. But I don't like looking down to play stuff. It's not my thing. I don't play mobile games ever.
I don't mind it because I played Game Boys for years. I had a DS, 3DS, all that stuff. So it's like, I don't mind it, but I don't want just handheld. Like I still want that option to go, because I actually don't. I have a TV in my room, but it's acting as my fourth desktop monitor. So it's like, I'd have to unplug that and hook that up as an actual TV if I want to do that. So it's like, I could use handheld, especially if I traveled. It's like handheld would be great. Like if you go to GDQs or just somewhere else, just to have it, it's awesome. But I don't want to have just handheld.
One of our friends in a Discord we're in pointed out a weird detail that you can't adjust the brightness on it. And I was like, are there just like weird, like random quality of life things that they're stripping out of this thing? It's just, it'll play the games, but it might not be the best thing. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of something we'd brought up, probably talked about during our E3 stuff and just on podcasts before. If the Joy-Cons are built into the side, how do you play games that need motion control for certain things to activate? Usually, like in Mario Party, there's motion control, but there's just buttons you can press instead to activate the same thing. So I guess games going forward are going to have an option to not have motion control, which is great. I hate motion controls. But if it's built on, it's like, well, all right, I guess I got to just swing this thing around.
Your entire console.
Yep. Oh, it's cool. Yeah, I don't know how many people are going to buy it, but I'm sure some people will. People love collecting it, so.
You can buy it and then throw it.
There you go.
And that'll be it. But I'm not going to buy it, even though I still want to Switch. I need it to be cheaper, and I need it to not be a handheld version.
I need a free version that's 5 times as big, has 18 teraflops.
Nintendo Switch emulator. Oh, there's one. Look at that. Yuzu. More to come on that. I'll do research on this.
Well, maybe when we buy Nintendo Switches, we'll be able to play Turok Escape from the Lost Valley, which is a game that was kind of announced yesterday. Much to everyone's kind of shock. It came from a game jam, so it's not too surprising that it's not a full-fledged reboot of a Turok game. But it got me thinking of just like where Turok as a franchise has been. I didn't know originally he was from like comics or like from books and stuff before it became, he didn't start off as a video game character, is what I've learned, which is cool to see. He had other origins, but just the gaming franchise, comparing it to Wolfenstein and Doom and all these games that have started off classic FPS, and then they kind of hit a weird stride in the mid to late 2000s, like 2005 to 2010. Yes. So you have like Doom 3, Wolfenstein 2009, Turok game that came out in 2008. Kind of not bad, but janky and not what people really wanted.
It wasn't good.
And it's, if we had a Turok game like the Wolfenstein and Doom, the modern Wolfenstein and Doom games, but it was Turok with giant dinosaurs that you fought, it'd be the perfect like FPS, like Doom 2016, but dinosaurs instead of demons. It would be,
yes.
How do you beat that?
With the so technological sad. Like it makes sense in like the mid 2000s. Like it was like, okay, you had the PlayStation 2, now you had PS3 and Xbox 360. The hardware wasn't really that great, and people were trying to do crazy stuff. So you had like, and people weren't that good with those shooters on console and stuff. But like, yeah, they are better now. And if you made a Turok that was like had the good movement of a first-person shooter like Doom or like Titanfall, but with fucking dinosaurs,
like giant fucking dinosaurs,
it could be awesome. Dude,
yeah.
Horizon Zero Dawn was so fun, and that was basically like third-person Turok.
Yeah, a little bit
with a bow, I guess, with robot dinosaurs.
But,
yeah, just take Horizon.
I kind of forgot about Horizon, to be honest, because it's on PlayStation, and
it's a PS4 exclusive. But that game is really good. I really want a game like that on PC.
Yeah, it's watching that trailer is funny because they have like the classic fight iconic bosses lines and stuff like that, so you remember it's Turok. But it's fight iconic bosses, and it cuts to video of you fighting a bear. It's like, that's an iconic boss from Turok. It's like I just played through him not too long ago, but I don't remember just fighting a random bear. Like they show a bear, like a Triceratops and like a T-Rex. It's like, those aren't really iconic bosses. Sure,
it's
I guess.
Just a bear.
I mean, it looks like a cute game, but just the fact that it's like Turok and stuff, it's like, fine, sure, it's your property. You're trying to probably just keep the rights. I don't know whoever owns the rights to Turok anymore, but it's like I keep thinking, Turok, a modern shooting Turok game would be so fucking awesome.
The fact that it's an isometrical cartoony thing is really strange.
It made me think they saw the hype of Cadence of Hyrule and like Crypt of the Necrodancer. It reminded me of that without the beat part.
Maybe.
Because it's just like the isometric and the grids and hopping around. I was like, oh, this kind of looks like that, but there's no beat that you have to stay up with.
Yeah.
So
who knows? I mean, it's different, but
also
I think Turok, I want ultra violence.
It also, I think it's like the trailer said like out now, but like Steam says available the 25th. So I don't know if it's out technically yet or if it's still coming out. It's still, depending on how cheap it is, it might still be worth a playthrough if it's like $10 or something. But yeah, whoever owns Turok, please make a Turok game like Doom 2016 or Doom Eternal.
That'd be dope.
Yeah.
Some Turok speedruns are actually pretty cool. Like, I think it's like Turok 2 Seeds of Evil on PC. I can't remember which one it was, but I remember watching the PC port speedrun of it, and I was like, this is actually pretty fast and decent.
Yeah, one and two are pretty quick speedruns. So our friend Ripchip, formerly the Psycho Ripper, does a lot of Turok 2 runs, which is always fun to watch. When I was watching him do runs, because I don't think he's done runs in a bit. I just played through Turok 1 and 2, so it's like I got more familiar with it. It's like I want to go back and watch more runs, and then I was talking to Bakba Soup at SGDQ about his Turok 1 runs, because I didn't realize he ran that game, and just brought it up. I was like, oh, weird. How's that run? And it's like, it sounds pretty similar. And the only thing I wouldn't mind running them, but the movement, like the camera leans as you lean. Like if you go right, the camera leans to the right. That gets very nauseating. And I imagine if you do it, if you're turning a whole lot going really quick, it's like that could definitely, even if I don't get motion sick, I know people watching would get like motion sick and not.
Yeah, it's like if you're not playing, it's way worse.
Yeah.
Yeah, those one of the things I remembered about Turok is just the movement and the camera were so jank. Set the FOV to 170. Oh god, I'm vomiting right now.
I think it was. I don't remember the exact FOV, but in Bioshock 1, you can custom or console commands your FOV to whatever you want. I think I did a run at like 165 FOV because anything above that just breaks the camera, and you can't see anything, and like your character gets locked in place. It's like that was a nightmare for that, but yeah, I think I'll pass on that.
Jesus.
Another gaming news. Yeah. We want to switch over to our lovely topic that pops up about every week. I'd be surprised if it didn't. Is Star Wars.
That's where I was gonna go. Can I do my segue?
Yeah, go for it.
Planned. Turok fights dinosaurs on alien planets. I bet he feels alienated, a lot like the players would have felt if they made the Jedi Fallen Order character anything but a white male, which is what they said.
Yeah.
But yeah, Stig Asmussen, who's the director of Jedi Fallen Order at Respawn Entertainment, he did an interview with a Game Informer, and I listened to this podcast, and a bunch of articles came out after this short interview, where he said that they were talking about their choice of the main character, like why was it Cal, which is the name of the main character, and that guy, and not like, some other race. Yeah, that was the topic. They were like, have you ever explored the idea of like one of the Star Wars races, like maybe do like a Wookiee or a Trandoshan or like something different? And he was just like, yeah, we kind of landed on a human because that was just the most relatable thing. And I was like, okay. And he's like, then we didn't want to alienate players. I was like, okay.
Yeah,
it's racist against all those aliens.
I don't know if it was in that podcast or not because I haven't listened to it, but I saw one article was linking that they talked about like bringing up Rey as well. They're like, well, the movies have Rey as a character, so we didn't want to have like two female protagonists.
Yes,
at the same time, so that's why they made it a male character instead of a female. It's like, okay, Star Wars went out and got Rey, had a female protagonist, but you can't put that in a game as well. It's like people have responded well to Rey, but having two at the same time, like, oh, it's too much.
Yeah, well, they had a female protagonist for Battlefront 2, so I can kind of get that. It's like, who cares?
Yeah,
but yeah. He brought up, we talked about gender too, and it was kind of like between both. And there's Rey, and he didn't mention Battlefront 2 main character.
Who wouldn't mention Battlefront 2?
Yeah, I can't remember. I didn't. Yeah,
I remember she looks like, I don't remember her name. She came out at like E3 and did a whole presentation or something.
It's story sucked. Yeah, she did an announcement or something in a crazy cool dress, like an empire dress or something. But yeah, he said that, and I don't know. I thought it was weird to even mention it, but it was like because of Ray. What?
Yeah.
That's why you had a male. You could have just said he's the character we wanted, and it
Yeah.
would have been fine.
They could have just said he's the character we created
That's
the story for or something
Yeah.
like
This
that.
is the character we wrote, and then there's nothing really to it at that
I
point. And
get
then we found this actor, and he fit the role.
Yeah, it's also they modeled a lot of stuff after the actor, so it makes sense. I also understand like character creation can be timely and dev cost and dev time, but it's also you don't have to go full custom characters. You can just be like Assassin's Creed Odyssey, where they have a male character and a female character, and let you pick. But their looks, their structure, their names, all I guess Mass Effect. I didn't play that either, so I can't speak to it. Yeah, I never played. I don't really like RPGs.
Play Mass Effect 1 and 2. Don't play 3.
Okay. What about Andromeda? Is that 3? Or is that something else? Okay.
That's something else.
I'll just stay away from the franchise. But it's like
play Mass Effect 2.
Just have a female and a male character you can choose from. If you're worried about alienating players, just have them choose.
You know what? In Jedi Academy, they actually did it crazy good. So you just have a character named Jaden
Smith,
and yes, and at the beginning of the game, you make whatever character you want. It's a dude, a girl, multiple races, multiple multiple races, and you pick all your stuff, and then it just has a male and a female voice, and your name's Jaden, so it's like could be a guy or a girl, and that's what your story is. You're Jaden. And it's like, oh, that's cool. You make your own fucking thing. Same with KOTOR, Mass Effect. Yeah.
Yeah.
You could do that. But they wrote the Cal story, so they just want Cal.
Yeah. They were trying to go for that Superman audience with Kal-El.
No.
We'll just cut off the L part and just make it Cal. That'll be the Superman.
Star Wars Superman.
But it's like, I keep waiting for them to do like Ahsoka stuff. Is that her name? The crazy alien Jedi?
Yeah.
That everyone loves.
The one from Clone Wars that everyone loves. I need to watch that, actually.
It's like, why haven't they just used her as like character in these games?
Oh, no one knows. I think they're bringing that show back, actually.
I think so.
They announced it and everyone went crazy. And I actually talked to Stryker, also known as Jordan Indiana, Star Wars speedrunner at SGDQ, and we had a long Star Wars conversation. And he convinced me to try Clone Wars. I will be watching that soon.
We'll get a full breakdown.
Yes, a full review, a 6-hour YouTube series review.
But it's like Star Wars has so many characters that aren't human, that are fan favorites, like Ahsoka or whoever. I can't think of any others off the top of my head because I just don't remember Star Wars that much. Plo Koon, there you go. It's like you have all these characters that people love and think are cool, but you just keep going back to generic ass white dude. It's like, sure.
Yeah. I love all the races in Star Wars. Well, most of them. Not all of them.
The Hutts.
A Wookiee Jedi, yes. Give me a Wookiee Jedi story. Oh my god, that'd be amazing.
Let me play as a drone. Let me be R2-D2.
Yeah.
Flying around killing people.
Dude, you like break out of servitude as a droid? Just start murdering?
It's actually kind of funny going into this. I didn't realize I'd be talking about this on the podcast, but I've been doing a lot more Doom 3 stuff lately, and there's a part in Doom 3 where you like escort, or you kind of get escorted by a little guardian drone that walks around you, a little sentry, and it makes beeping noises that sound like they directly ripped the files of R2-D2 out and just put it in the game. And every time I go through the area, I'm just like, these motherfuckers, this is R2-D2. What did they do to him?
This is a Star Wars reference. I know this.
It's just like,
Jesus.
If you put them side by side, I'm sure they sound the exact same. The exact same files.
In chat, Suicide Machines, just let me kill people. Just let me kill people as Darth Maul. There was a video game that was being developed that was supposed to be a Darth Maul game, but it got canned. It was in like 2010 or 2012. It was really weird that they didn't go with it because there was prototype footage and it actually looked really fun. But yep, they canned it because they don't like fun. And then they made something stupid. I made a video about it. I can't even remember it.
Speaking of prototype games that never got released, I was just the other day watching through NoClip's Doom documentary about Doom 2016 and how that came to be. So I was like, where they started with Doom 4, which never got released and was basically transformed into what we have today as Doom 2016. And I did that because NoClip just put out a documentary, a little inside take on E3. It's not necessarily just like covering the event like a lot of news sites do, or like we did with co-streaming. They went and checked out how people cover E3. So they went behind the scenes with like GameSpot, well, not GameSpot, IGN and Giant Bomb, like kind of like how they set up their productions and talking to developers of like, what is your day like? You know, when you do interviews, what kind of things do you prepare for? Do you like respond to stuff that's on Twitter or things blowing up? Like how late do you fix your demos and your games before coming here? And just kind of what like the average day for different people at the event is. And it's a really fascinating thing of someone who's never been to E3 to kind of like see. He gives a small tour of like where different booths are and how it's set up. And just talking to people who it's like they come every year because they like going to the conferences or they like coming just to meet people or do interviews. Really cool document. It's about an hour and a half. And NoClip does a great job with documentaries if anyone hasn't seen the stuff before.
Yeah, it looks pretty cool.
But
I'm just like clicking through it. I haven't watched it yet.
Yeah, I saw it pop up and I was like, oh, I will watch this. And I remembered like, oh yeah, this, you know, the whole Doom documentary. It's like, I love watching that. So I went back and watched that. So I've been slowly like going back through when I have time and like watching like 20 minutes of this other NoClip documentary I haven't watched about a different game.
NoClip makes good stuff.
Really good stuff.
He's a really good YouTuber, honestly.
Because I had kind of forgotten. So I was like, I felt like he blew up from the Doom documentary. I was like, I wonder what he made before. It's like, there's really no videos before that because that was kind of the first one he properly did before. Because I think he was at what place was he from? What news? He left some company to start making the documentaries. I can't think of what it was.
Kotaku.
No, he did talk to Jason Schreier.
Schreier, yeah. I saw that.
He did an interview with him during that, just kind of talking about the leaks and what that's like and how he conducts his interviews going in with developers, which is kind of cool to see. But yeah, highly recommend that documentary if anyone's curious about the industry at all.
GameSpot.
Or just GameSpot, there you go. I was thinking GameSpot, but I was also thinking something else.
Kotaku.
Yep. I was thinking GameStop. I was like, it's not GameStop.
He worked at GameStop.
Yeah, GameSpot. Very similar things.
GameSpot verified. GameStop verified. Yeah, his stuff is really good. I need to check that out. I didn't even know this video existed until he told me about it.
Yeah, I kind of linked it in different places, but like I don't think it got too much traction out there. Just as of yet, like people talking about it in general. Like when the Doom one came out, everyone's like, "Oh, you have to watch this," and like every site was posting about it. It's like this is kind of just put up on his channel, and that was it. Yeah, good stuff. Another video that went up on YouTube channel. Speaking of things that should be talked about, Easy Escape put out one 2 days ago or yesterday. I think it might have been yesterday. I don't remember.
I think it was yesterday. Yeah. A day ago.
Which is
yesterday.
Yeah. Whenever it came out, basically standing up for another runner in the speedrunning community. When somebody, not going to go into the whole details because I honestly can't remember so many. Someone basically cheated a run of Forbidden Memories and tried to play it off like it wasn't cheated. And then when he was called out, he kind of attacked the world record holder and some other runners and stuff, and basically just was a scumbag all around. I got like videos demonetized and got him a copyright strike. But,
yeah, he copy struck the guy, the world record holder who called him out, and apparently that is where he made most of his money.
Yeah, he
And
was a streamer on YouTube pretty exclusively. I
yeah,
think he did like Twitch and YouTube, but focused on the YouTube side of it.
yeah. So the guy who cheated, who's done a lot of shady shit in the past and has had one of his channels banned because, or apparently one of his exes deleted his channel because he posted revenge porn with her. The
Yeah,
channel got deleted. So on
the,
his new channel, he's streaming his cheating speedruns. So stand-up guy. He makes a lot of child porn jokes, which is really oof. Uh, yeah, Easy Escape really paints a good picture on who this guy is, and it's not pretty at all, and he's a real shithead.
right, and the reason
But
I wanted to also bring up this video is EasyScape did this not to, one, just to call light on the situation itself, which is always great, but he didn't say go attack this guy like he's done. GFC, is that the runner? That
yeah,
okay. So like how he went and his community went after GFC. He just said, "Hey, these are the facts. Instead of attacking the guy, I can't even remember his name. Just go and support GFC. Like put the energy
yeah,
you might have towards this guy. It's whether it's hate or anger or frustration. Just put that towards support of GFC, which is a great thing because they've raised like he got like 3,500 donations and like 500 subs out of it. So it's like his
yeah.
worrying about money from losing his YouTube channel, which was his income. It's like he doesn't like he's set for a while on Twitch, and it's like
That's nice.
ultimately benefiting out of it instead of just like, oh yeah, this guy over here, we're just gonna go and attack him and give him the attention that he ultimately wants, whether it's positive or negative. It's like he just
Which
wants
is the best way
attention
to
out
do
of
it.
it.
Yeah, it's the best way to do that video on Easy Escape's part, because
And
not only is it better and more positive for GFC and everyone involved, but it's also like, how do I put this? Like there will be comeuppance anyways for that guy,
mhm,
but not directly from Easy Escape. It's more just like, hey, this is so everyone knows about what's going on.
right.
All right, I will let the chips fall where they may now.
Yeah, it wasn't him trying to like be the judge, jury, and executioner of this case. It was just
Yeah.
him saying, "Hey, this is a fucked up situation. Go support a fellow runner, someone who's clearly in the right, and just stating facts as they are, not making like any sort of inference to what happens or like trying to imply things were shady here. It's like these are the facts. This is what we know. This is how we know he cheated." And just laying it out there instead of, going on a rant and attacking somebody, which is a very bad thing to do. Do not do that. So it was very cool to see that.
Don't be bad.
I think that video is doing pretty well as for
It had like
views.
400,000 views this morning.
I think
up to
it's
like 740,000 now.
yeah. So
Which is nice. Also, apparently the guy who cheated, tried to like have people go to the video and like dislike bomb it, but it's still like 95% likes to
yeah.
dislikes. It's just like, what are you doing? Like you're not gonna affect it this
Yeah,
much.
it's just like that. It's cool to see someone like Easy Escape in that position to where he has an audience. He has a pretty substantial, like viewer base and people who regularly tune into his videos. It's like that he's willing to put this out there. It's like, hey, these are the facts. I'm not ruling on the situation, but I'm just saying, look out for this kind of stuff and supporting people in the speedrunning community. It's like GFC. I don't know how big of a channel he has. I haven't really ever watched him or have heard of him before, but it's like he can't really have done anything. It seems like he was just getting crushed under the weight of the other guy's community coming over and just taking over chat and basically harassing him into just quitting. It seems like. So
Yeah.
for someone with a bigger channel to come up and say, "Hey, I'm going to support you and help you get through this," it's like that's what someone in that position. They're not obligated to do. They're not forced to do it, but they're people in those situations should be looking beneath them and helping out the community if they really want to see the community grow. Because everyone talks about, let's make it a speedrunning community instead of just two people running this game over here and two people running this game over here. We've talked about the speedrunning community before. Now it's just a bunch of small ones. And if someone can rise above that and kind of unify them, kind of like this is done, it's kind of a cool way to bring things together. They're still separate, but ultimately it's like we may speedrun different games, we may be in like technically different communities, but our passion and hobby is still the same. So it's like I understand what you go through. I understand your situation. I'll stand by you if needed.
Like-minded individuals,
right,
and such. And it's EasyScape's. He seems like a good guy. Like he's one of the better speedrun YouTubers I've seen of all of them that have popped up in the past. He's probably him and Summoning Salt seem to be doing it kind of the best.
There's been a lot of people who have tried to emulate what they do, especially people trying to emulate like Summoning Salt and his record progression videos. There have been many attempts of that. We've seen people do it with like Dark Souls and Doom's 2016. And they just kind of come in the Discord, ask questions for a day, and try to rush out a video. Where Summoning Salt, legitimately takes his time, really learns the run, and if he puts out a video, I don't know frequently, but it's like it takes a long time for him to make those videos. He's not rushing those out every 2 days, because people see it's like, oh, he's making 100,000 or 500,000 views off this video once a month. What if I put out the same video with less work every 2 days? I can do the same thing and become a YouTuber. Like,
as
can't.
Somebody who's like, I've had multiple times where I would try to make a video related to speedrunning in all sorts of ways, and every time I approach it, I'm like, this is going to take a lot of work, because I can't just sit here and like not look up that much and then be confident in a video about speedrunning. Like professional level, I'm like, no, I would need to spend a long time talking to a lot of runners. If it's a game I have no knowledge of, like, you have to really invest a lot. And so I have a lot of respect for these channels, because when you watch it, you're like, oh, they really did their research and like work, which is really nice.
Yeah, it's because it's one of those things. It's like the communities for games are so specific. Like they know the ins and outs of the runs and the tricks and how to do them. And if you are someone who's trying to do a record progression and talk about the different tricks and how they're developed over time, and you just like are saying basic level facts, people in that community are instantly going to call you out. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, this is completely inaccurate. And you made assumptions instead of just asking people how it was done. It's just like, you clearly are showing no effort in trying to learn anything about this, and you just want to put out a video for the sake of putting out a video. So,
when it comes to that stuff, you gotta do your due diligence and really care about it.
Yep. And YouTube is making it slightly easier with their changes to copyright that was kind of announced. They're not changing too much off the bat, but they're saying more is to come, which is a great sign. So we've mentioned it, and everybody kind of knows how automatic and terrible YouTube's monetization and copyright system is. So to see that they're even acknowledging that it needs changes is already a step in the right direction. It's just how much they keep doing. We can break down the few things that they announced if we want to have to pull up that post. But it's okay, maybe in a year, 2 years, it won't be a terrible platform.
It won't be a place where some asshole cheating speedrunner can demonetize somebody's entire channel fraudulently with no questions asked. And then just get away with it, because that's something that actually happens all the goddamn time, especially with smaller channels, which YouTube can't be fucked to help. It's only bigger channels they'll usually pay attention to, who have like copyright claims that demonetize their entire goddamn channel. It's a very volatile system that doesn't work that well.
And that they go on social media and rant and then have their huge fan base start tagging them and blowing up official YouTube's social media. It's like, that's the only way to really get their attention, is not on their own platform, but on a different platform where you can call them out.
A lot of people a lot of people cannot get that done.
Yep.
Unfortunately,
I
a
mean,
lot of smaller channels have died because of some attack
it's
that killed
kind
the
of the
interest.
same on Twitch. It's talked about way less, but there's a lot of things where stuff will happen. You'll get banned for something small. But even if you're a partner, but you're not someone like Dr. Disrespect, it's like you might get banned, but chances are you're not going to be able to contact partner support, or they're not going to be helpful. If you reach out on Twitter, they're going to be like, hey, you got to contact partner support or Twitch support. It's like they're just going to tell you fuck off.
Yeah.
It's unless you have that audience to kind of back it up and call them out enough, then they don't care.
Mm-hmm. And it's always like Suicide Machine is saying, like it's always alleged copyright holders. Like a lot of the strikes are completely false, or like there's so many instances of people posting like, hey, this company posted a bunch of claims on all my videos and they don't own any rights to like this music that I used, because like this is music I have the right to use, but they're just claiming they own it,
Mm-hmm.
or they're claiming fair use because I used a clip of their stream that was like a 3-second clip or something in a 10-minute video, and they're trying to claim the whole video, and it goes through. And that's happened to one of my videos, and it's not cool. So yeah, it's nice that YouTube's actually saying, hey, we're working on it. They said things like, so there's lots to come with copyright. Today we're starting with a few changes. Number one is manual claims now require timestamps showing exactly what is claimed. 2, improving editing tools that will easily remove manually claimed content and automatically release claims. That second one I don't really care much about. The first one's nice.
Yeah, I mean, even the timestamp thing that was kind of already thing. I mean, it's
Yeah.
automated. It just said, hey, like this area is kind of where we think the copyright is. So I don't know the manual part of like more specific is what they're going for.
It says automatically release claims as part of that. So I don't know if they mean like, oh, do you want to mute this part of your video
so
or something?
I know they do go further into that, saying that they're going to offer better ways to like take that spot and either cut it out of the video entirely, mute it, or like replace the audio with a song of their library, which is kind of something you could have already done, but it seems like maybe there's going to be better tools for that. I don't know like, the cutting out part, if that was something you could do. I know the muting and the song you.
Yeah, you can trim and clip your videos on YouTube's part. They will process it that way.
So it's like they're saying if you do that, then that claim will automatically be taken off instead of maybe going through.
So.
Where you have to submit saying, hey, I took this out, review it, and then go through all that. So it's like that's kind of nice if you want to go down that avenue. But yeah, I've had it was one of my Prey speedruns from a long time ago that still had the intro in it, like that long ago. Basically the first week of the game coming out. It has the intro song from Prey, because it should. But somebody took that song, sampled it in their rap, put that up on YouTube, and then filed out copyright strikes for anybody that was using that song. But it's like, you don't have the original copyright to use that in your own music, let alone the right to then flag that music in other people's videos. It's like I sent emails out to Bethesda and my contacts like, hey, this guy not only is using your song, which, you know, you might want to look into, but he's also sending out like copyright claims on your fans that have uploaded videos of gameplay and speedruns and stuff. It's like that stuff got taken down like the next day, like all of the music. I was
I wonder if that's an automated thing or if he purposely went out and found
it more than likely was just an automated thing.
That's the way automated does not work. It's so bad. The YouTuber who has to constantly like I take so many steps to avoid any kind of copyright audio specifically. And I'll still upload it, and I'll keep it a video private before I release it, just to wait. And it takes like a couple of days, and it's like, hey, we found something on your video. I'm like, this is not a thing. It's like 2 seconds, and I have to go and edit it out.
Yeah, I mean
and that's fair use.
Luckily, not luckily, but the one nice thing on YouTube compared to Twitch is still kind of figuring out how they are handling their muting system. So they mute more than they need to. So it's like if I play an intro song from my
or YouTube.
So on Twitch, they're still kind of figuring out to where it's like they do more than they need to. Because at first it was like if you play a song and it hits our automated library of matches or whatever, we're gonna mute a 30-minute block in your VOD. It's like one song gets 30 minutes, and they've slowly shrunk that down to where it's a little bit more reasonable, but it still goes over. So there's a lot of times if I play music as I'm starting up the stream, and then like my first run of the day is a PB. If that music in the beginning hits their copyright, it'll like cut off the first minute or two of my run's audio, and it's just like, clearly I wasn't playing music in that minute or two. That was already over with. Why is it still affecting the run part? It's like if I can just cut out everything before, fine. I don't have a problem with that. I don't need that for my video when I export it to YouTube. But it's like, because it's on Twitch, it's kind of shitty that way. And there's no way to get that audio back.
Shitty that way.
Unless you keep it recording, which it's like, that's a whole other thing you got to go down. Yeah. Like we've run into that issue with this podcast before. There's been a couple where I didn't do a local recording because I just like forgot to hit the button that week. And the intro music, like 5 seconds of it bled through into the podcast. The muting part did. So it's like the first couple words weren't in the podcast. So I had to go back and like dub over it. Like, hey, sorry, we lost some audio. If you've listened to the podcast, you've probably heard that a couple times. That's usually what happens is I forgot to local record that week.
Are you recording now?
Yes. But over the years, not over the years, well, I guess over the years, but especially the last couple of months, I've been more cautious about the music I play before streams. I've gone towards stuff that's more instrumental, that doesn't get picked up quite as much. Pro tip to anyone out there. Within the Ruins has a pretty good instrumental track. SGDQ had a great set of instrumental tracks that Power Up Audio used. They put out their playlist if you want to go check that out. It's also a good source.
Greatest way to get around any copy as a Star Wars video maker, you find people who do musical covers of songs and version of X. And hey, this is in my video now. And then you just link it. Hey, I got this music from the.
Yeah, I mean, technically, even remixes, like the remix itself isn't under like fair use or anything. You still have to go through like licensing that out and stuff, which nobody does. They just get away with it. So it's like,
that's right.
It's a whole legal battlefield you don't want to touch. And we all know that Article 13, is that what it's called? I don't even remember. 17. Some article have passed that's going to just be terrible for all of us in the near future with that stuff anyways. Yeah. So why not?
Yeah, fuck.
Give that a couple years and we'll see how things go.
I don't like it. So yeah, copyright.
Woo!
So fun. Love dealing with it, which is something I'm gonna have to deal with a lot more because I'm trying to. This is kind of an aside, you know.
Okay.
But I've been working more on YouTube videos. I want to go hard on that again. I got 2 videos in the making. They'll be out before the end of the month.
I don't believe it.
I want to do YouTube full time. That's my goal. My goal is to afford to quit my job and just make money from YouTube, which I think I can do. But that is one of the biggest issues is like, what music can I use?
Yeah.
I want to use like music related to my subject, but that music is copywritten and it's a dance.
Mm-hmm.
It's a copyright legal dance.
Yeah.
10 best cats in Star Wars. That's a good idea, Dime.
Yeah, this is probably something I'll talk to you like off podcast and off stream about that kind of stuff as well. But it's like going for that goal of just like, hey, I'm making more YouTube videos. I want to get to the point where I could potentially do this full time. It's like, that sounds like a great thing. But when you're on that step of like trying to commit, you're at that level of like, this potentially could be a thing. I have to either like fully commit to it
It's scary.
or stop. It is a very scary step of like,
it's horrifying
because you're giving up a steady paycheck, you're giving up insurance, you're giving up all those benefits. It's like
any old person could just copyright a thing and then suddenly you're not making money. So it could be a fool's errand, but I'm gonna keep my day job and then just start feeling it out and see how it goes.
You should
moves to make my cost of living lower to see if I can do it. It is very volatile, yes.
It's like these are great changes coming with YouTube, but they might in 2 months revert back. They might put in even worse policies for that stuff and drop ad revenue again. Who knows?
Even if I could just edit video, that's probably also
a
cool thing. I'm thinking about starting a company for creating or helping with documentaries because I like editing videos like that. Feeling it out.
Yeah, it's one of those things. It's like with Twitch being the way it is and being a full-time streamer, it's like if I don't continue taking this full time, if I went to look into other things, it's
taking
like
it super seriously.
Production is like the line of work I've been eyeing, of like video editing or some type of photography or doing camera work for somebody, going out and getting B-roll or film. It's like, I mean, there's tons of people doing that, and there's a very hard time to get certain jobs, but it's like you can find content creators are constantly looking for editors for like monthly clips, or like, oh, here's my top clips of the week all edited together in a funny montage. Like you can find lines of work in that way. Who've moved on from that to actually working at like TV stations and putting together highlights for them and all that stuff. So it's like you can kind of use those skills that you would put towards a YouTube video and do it kind of in a different path.
And there's like multiple things you could probably do at the same time to like supplement income if you were to. I think that's the way you do it. It's not just doing one thing. It's like attacking multiple fronts, feeling out multiple skills and things you could do. If you're into something like Twitch, YouTube, online entertainment, editing, producing, there's like so many different paths to take, I guess. It's a weird little thing that's still developing. Very young type of set of career paths.
Well, I just thinking about this. If anyone's kind of new to our podcast or skipped around videos, go watch the one where we had Johnny B from the Browning on. It's that one really like hit me. Is like him talking about just being like living a creative lifestyle and doing so many different things. Like, yes, he's in a band, but
he does a lot of shit.
He also, he's making his card game. He does like mobile esports videos and song commissions and streams on Twitch playing RuneScape and just kind of has a hand in a whole bunch of different things because he doesn't necessarily want to be in the band for the rest of his life. He might want to get into making soundtracks for movies. And it's like hearing him express those things at that level, someone who's successful, if you look at it, like he's in a major band that people love and he's touring. He's over in China playing shows.
So his tweets.
Yeah. Which was cool to see. I didn't realize he was going over to China. But it's like him talking about how happy he is now and like showing all these posts from China and all this stuff. It's like, as someone who like primarily just streams, like I do a little bit here and there working towards different things, but it's like starting, like I would have never thought maybe looking into making my own card game or making like a documentary series about something or whatever it may be, some music production type stuff in the background. It's like,
it's like throwing everything, seeing what sticks, seeing what you like. Because it's like it's like something I always hear about YouTube. It's like you gotta get lucky. That's what I hear a lot of people say, and it's like, I mean, you could look at it that way, but really, if you work hard enough, you create your own luck. Something will stick, essentially, if you just keep throwing shit. And that's essentially like what he's doing. He's like, I'm doing a bunch of different things that I enjoy and I think are good. Mm-hmm. And like some of them stick and then it just works out. You can create your own luck with like hard work, as long as you're enjoying what you're doing and staying true to yourself,
Well, it may not even
it'll be
be
good.
like you may throw a whole bunch of stuff at the wall, but it may be stuff that you didn't realize you needed to even be throwing in the first place. It's like, I want to get into Twitch, and that's where your heart's set on being a full-time Twitch streamer. But it's like, you start streaming, you realize, oh, maybe this isn't quite where I'm heading. And then you start editing videos on the side to kind of get better at that. And you realize, oh, I like actually doing that way more. Or I like,
True.
like maybe just highlighting production stuff, like putting together overlays and streams and doing design for my stream. Which for me is like, I could sit down and just for days just work on my overlays and transitions from one scene to the next, which literally my Saturday night for like 7 hours, I was just like installing plugins for OBS and messing with scene transitions and all this stuff. It's like, I didn't stream any of that. And it was just like, this is a fun thing to mess with. It's also super frustrating because fuck that. There's a lot of stuff in OBS that you can't do that I wish you could do. You have to work around and it sucks.
Oh yeah. Do you want to vent about that? Because I know you were.
I kind of did on my
something.
So it's like I'm trying to do more integrated stuff where it's like things on my overlay change based on what's happening. So one of my ideas was if you're doing speedruns, because I use much like the podcast where we have white borders around the webcam. On my speedrun overlay, I have a white animated border, so it's a WebM file that slightly moves. And it's a nice little aesthetic. I thought with the speedrun, if live splits up and it shows that I'm behind or ahead, so the splits turn green or red, right? That my overlay for my webcam border would change colors based on whether I'm ahead in the run or behind. It's like, that's kind of a nice idea. It doesn't stand out. Like I wanted to make it a way so it's not super obvious. It doesn't like suddenly change. Like, oh wow, why did that webcam just change? Something very subtle in the background, just nice little effects. But there's really no great way of automating that in OBS as I found, because you can't fade in or fade out sources. You can fade in and fade out scenes.
Yeah, that would be super dope.
So I hacked together a way, but the problem arises where if you do scene transitions or stingers, where it has like a graphic between your different scenes, which I use a lot of. If you hack it together, so I have 3 scenes set up that are exactly the same for my speedrun layout. So I have one that's my standard, it has the white border. Then I have exact cloned copy of it, and I've used the source mirror for the border, the animated overlay, so I can filter that to green without changing anything. Then I just hide the white one. And I duplicated that, but made it a red filter instead. So I have 3 scenes set up, 1 white, 1 green, 1 red. I need to make one that's gold for the gold splits. So I found out I'd never go back to white. I'm either ahead or behind, so it's green or red the whole time. It's like, oh, I don't really need the white one that much.
Yeah.
But I can't then have transitions between those because I just wanted to use a fade effect. So the color fades in and fade out accordingly. So it's a subtle effect, not just popping in and out and be like, oh wow, it's super obvious. But the problem came in of if I want to transition away from those to like a webcam, just like a just chatting kind of overlay and back, it's like you run into the problem of stingers and stuff not playing correctly or being in the wrong spot. So I get a plugin that lets you do custom ones in and out of each scene. And you have to go in and plug it in manually. So it's like I have 8 or 9 scenes. So for each one, I have to correspond going to a different scene, basically just a matrix of in and out for each scene, going to a different scene. If that makes sense. So if like my intro to the green splits, intro to red splits, but then red splits to intro, red splits to webcam, red to green, red to outro, a whole bunch of stupid stuff that could have just been automated into one thing if they let you fade sources with filters. Why is that not a thing? It's so dumb.
Because it's impossible.
Apparently.
I'm a programmer. I know this. I went to computer science school for approximately 1 month before quitting. I have the solution for you. Okay,
Just
you
stop.
get
Don't stream. Yeah.
you quit streaming.
All right. I'm done. I'm out.
You get. Oh, he's gone. You get what is it called? RGB lights
Mhm.
in your background, and you hook it up to your computer via a cable of some description, and you hook up live split to your lights.
Yeah. I mean,
Boom. I'm
basically,
sure that's possible.
there you
I don't know.
can like Suicide Machine said in chat. I could write it myself. I haven't written any programs for a long time, and I haven't ever messed with doing like a live split plugin. And there's things outside of just using live split and the splits that I want to do, which is kind of where the problem arises, because then I have to write plugins and stuff for all of this, which I could do, but it's going to take me significantly more time than like the 2 hours I invested in it. But it's like I set up all those scene changes to my Stream Deck and just hit a button. So it's
You have an Elgato?
yeah, I have a regular Stream Deck. I can get
Nice.
it on camera. My sources.
Dude, I want one of those.
So I just like these are my split buttons. If I want to hit split, I hit the middle button, and then here I have white, green, and red to transition the scene accordingly, and some other stuff in there as well, like mute mic, mute desktop if need be. But yeah, I mean, there's things like you could do lights, which I think people have kind of done in the past. I think that's something you can also do with like the Elgato lights, as you can change brightness and stuff. I don't have those, but I think that's one of the integrations you can do. But yeah, it's also had like if you do enough red splits in your run accordingly, like you get like a little blood damage overlay, kind of like some older.
Oh, like Doom.
Yeah, like Doom does. Like
That's
comes up on
good.
the sides. Like that would be kind of a cool effect. Like not just covering the whole screen, obviously, but it's like kind of creeping in from the sides.
The whole screen in blood.
I mean, if you get like 10 red splits in a row. Maybe do that or something.
Yeah, just no. If you got 10 red splits in a row, just cover everything in blood because nobody should be watching that speed run.
Yeah,
it's terrible.
I just wish OBS had either the ability to hotkey filters, because that would be much easier. Or
that'd be cool too.
Yeah,
dang, you should post these on their website.
I think people have. I haven't just because I've been too annoyed. But it's either hotkeying filters or having transitions on sources. Like those two things would be a game changer for me personally. It's like I could just set up the different filters for the different color and then hotkey those instead of having to create an entirely different scene to transition to. But
they have a lot of improvements they could have in there.
Yeah. What are you gonna do?
But back to the original point.
What was the original point?
I don't know. Success on YouTube or Twitch, something. Planting all the seeds.
Speaking of planting seeds, watch this transition. Let's talk about cotton candy grapes, because I have some and I want to talk about them. They're delicious.
Wait, what?
Planting seeds, like grape seeds.
Cotton candy grapes?
Yes. So apparently a lot of people do not know that the things that are cotton candy grapes exist in the world. They are regular grapes, but you bite into them and they taste like cotton candy. It is wonderful. It is delicious. And you should go buy them. Yes, I have like 4 pounds in the fridge. They come in 2-pound containers.
What?
Yeah.
That's way too many grapes.
It is not.
4 pounds is a lot of food.
No, it is not. Because once you buy them, you're like, holy shit, I need more of these. But yeah, I saw, because it popped up. It's like, we just have some in the fridge. And it's like, to me, it's like they've kind of existed for quite a bit of time. And I just thought at this point, people had caught on to that they existed and that we were kind of just past them existing. But I saw a Reddit thread the other day about people talking about cotton candy grapes. Like today I learned they existed. I was like, well, apparently a lot of people still don't know they exist.
It's slept on.
But they're genetically modified grapes over time to have, there's some chemical that is naturally appearing in grapes that they over time bred them the right way.
They mated the grapes
to make
together.
that more prevalent in the grape, I guess. I am not a grape scientist, and I'm not a grape engineer.
The grape machine.
um, but
What? I thought you were. The hell?
I will say
I will not eat these grapes. I will say.
I will bring some to
I
a
don't-
GDQ.
No, I don't
Yes.
trust it. I'm gonna get like cancer.
So they're kind of weird.
Something.
And the way I was reading the thread with other people
Oh, yeah,
responding,
they taste like cotton candy.
well, not in that fact, but I was reading the thread and I was like, okay, I kind of see some of these people's points of people who have tried it. It's not all of them necessarily taste like cotton candy. 'Cause once if you bite into one, you're like, oh, this tastes like cotton candy, and then you eat like two more, and you're like, wait a minute, this tastes more like an actual grape now. Like the more you eat, the less the cotton candy you taste because it just like you need to clean your palate.
Huh.
So if you're like eating it
don't
with
think
something, you get a lot of like mix of cotton candy and stuff. But it's like if you're eating like 10 grapes in a row, it's like the first one will taste like cotton candy, and then it's like diminishing returns the more you eat. And it's like, wait, it's like I'm just eating grapes.
I can't think of any other food like that. That's a really weird concept.
But they do have people mentioned like possibly making wine out of cotton candy grapes. I mean, there are wines that are flavored like cotton candy and stuff like that's a thing. I don't know if they've made it from those cotton candy grapes before, but
probably not.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Generally, flavored alcohol isn't that great. I'm just gonna throw that out there. I'm not a fan of it, but
it's not. You're not wrong.
I'm putting this like I put this on my topics of things I want to talk about because it also kind of leads into things like the Impossible Burger and like fake meat becoming more of a staple and something we're moving towards where they're saying fake meat's going to be cheaper in like a couple of years than it is to have a regular burger, and you could see fake meat taking over the industry and stuff like that. I just thought it was kind of an interesting way we're heading, where we're now having very
genetically modified stuff. And
I mean, we've had that for a bit.
Stuff.
Seedless watermelons, which are great. There's a video I would like to link with this about seedless watermelons, but I will not. Let's just say,
hot for
Twitch. I'll link it to you. It was in our other Discord, but
I'm into
basically it was me and Zabaz, another one of our friends and runners. We were playing Black Ops 4 and talking about seedless watermelons. And basically the fact that there's kind of a mob mentality of certain Christians that want to attack seedless watermelons for being genetically modified and not a creation of God. It's like they're unnatural and we hate them, and it's like this stupid thing. It's just like
it's not
you live your life hating seedless watermelons. It's like, okay, sure, you do you, but I will sit over here with my seedless watermelons and cotton candy grapes, living
it's not
my best life
way.
But yeah,
do we have a religious stance on this podcast?
Only if you hate genetically modified fruits.
That's all we ask of you is to open your mind.
Open your taste buds and experience cotton candy grapes.
Open your buds to me.
Your Bud Lights as we drink.
Your Bud Lights.
Not sponsored. Do not copyright claim. That's fair use. I swear.
This is a Bud Light. Born in the Rockies. 1978.
You know what else was born in the Rockies? Spiders. And Spider-Man Far From Home came out last week.
That was an amazing transition.
I was wondering how I was going to get to that one. I
was wondering where that was going to end up.
I was going to say Spider-Man, but I was like, I guess I'll just go with spiders first. Yeah, Spider-Man Far From Home came out.
Did you see this?
I have not, because it was during...
Well, neither have I, so fuck.
It was like was it the second, or when did it actually come out? Second, yeah. So it's like we were home from GDQ. Wait on everything. I want to see it. I've actually kind of been spoiled on a couple things already, which I don't really mind too much. And this is the reason I want to bring it up, although we haven't seen it. It's just like after Avengers Endgame, we kind of mentioned it. It's like that might be people's jumping off point to where they stop going and seeing every Marvel movie in theaters and stop kind of caring as much about the Marvel movies coming out. And I'm curious to see the box office numbers for this. I haven't heard any for Spider-Man at all, but it's like, will we see a significant drop off? Like, will this beat out? I can't remember the first Spider-Man movie title. Spider-Man Homecoming.
Yeah.
Like, is this going to top Homecoming? Are people still in the Marvel mindset where they have to go and see every movie? Or because I don't feel a rush to go see this. Like, I saw Captain Marvel. I saw the Infinity War Endgame. It's like, I want to see this. I like Spider-Man.
I don't
it
feel
looks
the
cool,
rush either.
but it's
I
like,
will say that.
Yeah, I don't feel like I have to see it at the moment.
Worldwide, $600 million.
Okay.
In 1 week. So there's that.
Mm-hmm.
Really good, says people in chat. 6x9 in chat. I've heard a lot of people say it's also very good.
Yeah, I've heard it's good, and Mysterio is one of my favorite Spider-Man villains just because of the effects. And I've heard one of the things like I want to look up, and this is how I end up getting spoiled, is just like kind of how good of a job they do treating Mysterio and just his visual effects and stuff. And from what it sounds like, his stuff is really cool. I look forward to seeing that, but it's like I don't feel a pressure like, oh, I need to go and make sure I see it in theaters and stuff. Like I can wait a little bit and just kind of. But speaking of Infinity War and Endgame, the Russo brothers, who directed those movies, put out a tweet just a couple hours ago saying 7/19/19, which is 9 days from now, something's going to happen. And they included some audio, which was them showing off Infinity War's trailer at Comic-Con, I guess a couple years ago. So it's like 7/19, we might see the Russo brothers introduce new Marvel properties, or because back in Phase 2, they went and just like, here's everything coming out for the next 10 years, starting from like Civil War through Endgame, and laid out Phase 3, basically. And it's like, people have been wondering what's going to happen in Phase 4, if they're going to call it Phase 4, or if they're just going to do their own thing. And there's been like Black Widow rumors, kind of confirmed prequel stuff, and like Eternals and some other movies. So it's like, who knows what they're going to do, but they could be gearing up for something, I guess.
What's the franchise that the Russo brothers were like going to direct that was like a big deal? It was like a month ago. They're like, oh, the Russo brothers are producing or directing the new blah. I can't remember what the fuck it was. I don't know if it was Star Wars related.
Oh.
It might be crazy. I could have swore they were like gonna work on something else that was anticipated.
I know what you're talking about, but I also don't remember.
I can't possibly remember what this was.
Just Googling Russo brothers at the moment returns nothing but the possible Comic-Con teases.
Shit. Die, Nat.
What?
There's a gnat on my monitor. I hit it. Fuck, I can't remember what it was.
Well,
we'll follow up.
This isn't what I thought it was, but is it Magic the Gathering animated series?
Yes, that's exactly what it was. Okay, cool.
That is not what I thought it was, but yeah, okay.
That's not what I thought it was, but upon thinking about it, that is exactly what it was. It was something weird, and it wasn't Star Wars. Yeah, I do want to see Far From Home. I like Spider-Man a lot, just in general. He's always been like, I'm not a big fan of a lot of comics, but Spider-Man is cool. Excuse me. So I'm down to see that.
I think it's kind of like unanimous. Before Marvel made the whole MCU and everything, it was basically the characters you like, or the superheroes you liked, were Batman and Spider-Man. Like those are the two everybody knew. Everybody loves their villains. Well, maybe more Batman's villains than Spider-Man's villains, but it's like those are the like, if you went up to anybody like, hey, who's the superhero? You know, it's gonna be Batman or it's gonna be Spider-Man. Well, maybe Superman too, but fuck him. It's
Superman
like
sucks.
yeah, if this was now the time when Captain Marvel was coming out, it's like I think everybody would use Endgame as the jumping off point. Like, oh, I don't need to actually go and see Captain Marvel, but because it is Spider-Man, like, oh, I still want to go out and see it and find out what's coming.
This
But
Spider-Man.
yeah,
you got Animal and then Man after it. Batman, Spider-Man.
Catman.
Batman does not suck. Just like some of the stuff they've been doing recently with Batman sucks. But Batman's cool, right? I've also heard. Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say the idea of Batman and like some of his stories are awesome. I just don't think they've ever really done a great job portraying Batman. Like The Dark Knight is fine,
Movies,
but
Dark Knight was like the last thing that was like amazing.
Right, but it's like go back to the animated series, one of the best cartoons of all time, just like hands down. It's like
so good.
None of the movies they've ever done have come close. Even The Dark Knight, it's like I'd still put the animated series well above The Dark Knight. I don't care. I'll put it. I'd watch the animated series 10 times through before I'd watch The Dark Knight again.
One's a movie, one's a TV series. It's apples and oranges. They're both good.
It's grapes and cotton candy grapes. They're the same thing, but one's sweeter.
Can you hold on? I'll be right back.
All right.
10 seconds.
Well, he's never coming back. That's it. The podcast is over, everybody. He's gone. It's just blood and beers now, and I don't have any beers. He took the beers with him. Can you believe that? But yeah, I mean, it's like, who doesn't like the Batman animated series?
Got another beer.
Oh, he came back with the beer. All right, podcast is saved. I was saying you took the beer with you, so it was just the blood podcast, and it's like I can't do 1/3 of it.
This is my third beer.
Jesus Christ. Single-handedly saving the podcast name.
Got a lot to talk about. Not really,
but speaking of beloved franchise, I don't know if you had anything more of Batman. Before I do a sick segue, I've been working on these all week.
Hold up. Wait a minute. I just heard the Godzilla movie is actually really decent.
Okay.
If we're on the topic of movies, and that's it.
Sure.
I haven't seen it, but I want to watch it.
I haven't seen it either. I honestly forgot it came out.
Me too. But I would want
it was kind of like when King Kong Skull Island came out. Is that the last one? I don't remember.
Yeah.
The one in this universe. It's like, it's like, oh, it's coming out soon. And then by the time it was out, I was like, oh, okay, sure. Yeah, I want to see King Kong as well. Or Godzilla as well. And then I think the next one's supposed to be King Kong versus Godzilla. Probably. Unless they do another Godzilla movie. So it's like, that should be an interesting hype. But speaking of beloved franchises from your past, Lord of the Rings is possibly getting an MMO. Is it an MMO?
MMO
game? By some people who made Destiny, WoW, and something else. I don't remember because I didn't read the article.
A handful of random developers who might have had something to do with the involvement of those games, yes.
Yep.
So there is currently still a Lord of the Rings online game. And I totally forgot this game existed until I heard about this announcement that there was a new Lord of the Rings MMO. So I looked it up and I was watching some videos on it. It looks real rough. It looks like a really terrible looking WoW clone, like the same exact UI, same like things are in the same places. It just doesn't look that great. People call it LOTRO, which I think is a terrible acronym because it's just Lord of the Rings online. But
yeah,
a new Lord of the Rings MMO that's all.
Wouldn't it be more LOTRO?
LOTRO. You want to play some LOTRO? Yeah, that's pretty bad.
Yeah, it's like it'd be cool for a great Lord of the Rings game. More of those games would be great. But when I saw it as an MMO, I was like, oh, like that. Like I don't really mind MMOs. I played some in the past.
Sure.
Mainly RuneScape.
Okay.
But it's like I'm out of that scene now, and I really don't want to get back into it. I know a lot of people, especially kind of our friend circle, have been jumping on the Final Fantasy 14 bandwagon.
14's big.
Yeah, a lot of people have been jumping onto that. It's like it looks sort of fun, but at the same time, it's like I don't want to even look at it. I don't want to go down that road.
If you don't play MMOs, then it's no big deal.
Right.
I think it. So the old Lord of the Rings MMO that looks like not that great. It's kind of old. Getting a new MMO is like a pretty big deal because when you think about like FF14, for example, FF14 came out forever ago and it was terrible, and FF11 was before that. It's like those are old MMOs have been around for a while. There's still official FF11 servers, but like FF14 is so much more polished. It looks better. It's been tweaked like so much. Came out with the Shadowbringers. Like a new Lord of the Rings MMO might actually be really decent.
Mm.
Because it is like, I guess it's high fantasy. I don't know if the definitions for medieval fantasy, but yeah, some MMO that's in that kind of category that's not WoW, I think people would be super into because WoW Classic is coming out and that'll be kind of a nostalgia trip, and people are kind of, I feel like are kind of burning out on current WoW.
Yeah, they might be burning out in current WoW as we wait for Saint to come back and his frozen state. Um, I'm not a huge fan of MMOs nowadays. I
Can you hear
haven't.
me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. You're back.
What?
You're having some
All right.
technical difficulties.
I didn't even notice something happened.
Yeah,
What's
you kind of just froze up for a little bit. But I was
that's
gonna
just what I do.
transition out of this because MMOs resident sleeper all day.
What? Yeah, they are.
I mentioned last week that I didn't want to think about playing Apex because I knew if I did, I'd sink time into it. And I don't really have a whole lot of free time. But hey, I've been playing Apex the past week.
It's a problem.
Mainly, I'm gonna say I've been enabled through Jamaican Bacon for agreeing to play with me most nights because I would not play Apex by myself. And I don't play Apex by myself, but when he plays with me, I'm like, all right, I got somebody to play with. We're good.
Play date.
Yeah, exactly. But we've been playing that on and off. It's season 2. They've introduced some new changes, new character, ranked mode, which we've been grinding away at, working our way up the leaderboards, sort of, just like the ranking system itself, which has been kind of interesting to see how playstyles are varied as you go up slowly. We haven't gotten that far. We just hit, I'm like 10 points ahead of him or something, so we're like very close in rank, but sometimes we get off sync. So I'm silver 1 and he's silver 2 at the moment, which is still pretty low. It's bronze. It starts at 4 and you go up to 1, so bronze 4, bronze 3.
Up to 1, and then it ranks up.
Yeah, and then you go to silver, and then we'll have gold. I think there's platinum, diamond, and then Apex Beast, which is like the top rank. But we haven't.
It's crazy.
We've put in some time, but we haven't put in that much time. So like, there are some people who are already at Apex Beast, and a lot of people up in platinum and diamond and stuff. But it's like even getting towards the end of silver and going kind of heading towards gold, it's like you notice the people who are thrown in with you because we're playing as 2 and you need 3. And there's no duo queue or anything like that. It's like we're getting people who kind of play a little bit better and they use their mic and they're not like screaming at people in the background and playing music. It's like they're there to
Mom.
Yeah, exactly.
Mom, give me pizza rolls.
But you also kind of notice that like it takes a little longer for servers to fill up because like I guess not enough people are playing ranked at the time we do. So we'll get thrown in with some bronze as well. I don't exactly know how the ranked servers match things up.
It starts reaching out to get more people.
Because we haven't really gone into a gold lobby, but like we'll notice bronze people in our silver lobbies, if that makes sense. It's just like, I guess if they don't get enough, they'll just bump people up to certain degrees. And it's like we still get the odd teammate who will drop by themselves or run off and die and do dumb stuff. I'm sure that extends upwards because the first couple ranks you go through, like bronze, there's no, how it works is you get points every match, or if you get kills, that's like 1 point. And then your placing is additional points, so you just stack them up. And as you go up the ranks, it costs more points to start the match. So bronze is free, and you just slowly climb up. But once you hit silver, it costs 1 point each match. So you're down 1 at the start. So if you drop and die, you don't get any kills and you're not in the top 10, you just go back 1 point in your overall rank. But if you get a kill, then you'll be neutral. Or if you get top 10, you'll slowly go up over time. And then gold is 2 points to start. I think platinum, or I forget the order. Platinum is 3, diamond's 4, and an apex beast is 5. So if like the more you go, it's like you have to keep consistently doing sort of well. Like if you get up to platinum and you're getting top 10s every match, you're gonna stay in platinum.
Huh.
But it's like to go up, you have to start getting more kills. But the first couple are basically just putting in time. Like there's some matches where we'll go down a point because we just drop and die, we get unlucky. But it's like we win one match, which is 12 points, and we get a couple kills along the way. It's like that's 15 right there. So we could drop 15 times in a row and die.
So you spend your points you get?
Yeah, so it's like you start with 0 and then like you accumulate points. But to enter, then it costs 1 point to like start that match.
Huh.
Which it's not like an ELO ranked system, which is kind of interesting. And I'm curious as it goes on how it's going to progress, because it's like, even if you're not doing super well, you're not winning a whole bunch of games, you can still progress pretty far, pretty consistently. Like an average player could get up to like the platinum rank and sit there pretty comfortably. Whereas in most games, it feels like you would stay in like silver or something, like pretty low. And like the people who are winning all the time and super good, they would rise up and go up because ELO rankings. But yeah, it's something that's just fun to play here and there when I don't feel like streaming.
So. Wait, so to start ranked play, you say you spend points to drop, right? So how do you play? Yes. How do you play your first ranked game?
So like bronze, it doesn't cost at all. So you start off in bronze 4, and from bronze 4 to up till until you hit silver is completely free. Like you don't. By the time you get to, so it's 30 points to go up to the next rank. Like from bronze 4 to bronze 3, you need 30 points. So by the time you hit silver, you have 120. And at that point, you have to start, like you spend 1. So like your first match, you would go in at 120. And if you didn't get any kills, you would technically go back down to 119 and go back into bronze 4, where you wouldn't have to spend a point. But there's JB actually ran into this issue of his first match where he was over 120 and silver. He didn't get any kills and we didn't get top 10, so he should have deranked. But because it was his first match, it didn't take it away. It was just like, nah, you're fine this time around. We're not going to drop you back down. So I guess there's something in place to prevent like someone going back and forth between ranks like every other match, like constantly going between bronze 4 and silver 1.
Gold and
like,
silver. I'm gold and silver.
Yeah.
That's an interesting way of going about it.
Yeah, it's I imagined when it came out, it'd be like any other ranked system where it's pretty much like ELO based, just like a overall rating system. Like, oh, your matchmaking's better because you won. We're gonna bump you up to like a harder difficulty, and just go up that way.
Yeah.
But the point is an interesting way to do it. I'm curious of when our consistency is gonna even out to where we're not gaining or losing any, where we'll fall.
Where you'll be placed.
So it feels like, honestly, we could reach Apex Beast at the rate we're going, just because of...
here it says Apex Predator.
Apex Predator? I don't... Whatever.
Excuse me.
But it's like, at that rank, it's 5 points to go into, and like 5 points is top 10 plus like 2 kills per match. But if you, like I said, if you win a match, it's 12 points instantly. Plus, if you win, you're gonna have a couple kills. So it's like, if you got 3 kills and you won, that's 15. So that's like 3 matches that you can just not really care about, but you also have to win. And if you're playing with other people at Apex, then Apex Predator, is that what it was called? I don't care. You're gonna have a tough time winning. So there's people like Shroud and Dizzy and all those absolute legends who are pretty much already at Apex Predator.
Disgusting.
Yeah, that's what I'm interested in.
Shroud play.
Yeah, I've watched.
Absolutely fucking filthy. It's insane.
I can't remember his name. There's a guy that's kind of blowing up. He's been like a pro for a while, but people are just kind of catching on to who. and how good of a pro he is now. I was watching this clip the other day, like so I can't remember what it is, and it's like, Jesus Christ, his aim is just, it doesn't look like it's any better than like an average player, but he just like hits every shot. It's like most people shoot and like the gun, the recoil like misses a little bit and they don't get the shots off into the system, but it's like
accounts for it.
It doesn't look like he accounts for it, but he does, and it just like everything hits. And it's like, goddamn, it's crazy.
Looks, the way he plays looks like the way you think you should be playing. Just like, what? Yeah, you just move your mouse over there and he dies.
Right.
Whatever. It's not like snapping.
The Apex also for their season 2, they finally implemented some map changes, which is nice. They didn't take the route of like PUBG where they have different maps that you queue into. It's still the same map, much like Fortnite. They just changed things, but they changed the middle of the map. So there's like a river bed kind of running down the middle. And they have, I think they're called Leviathans, but everyone just calls them dinosaurs. These giant, monstrous dinosaurs that like have.
They don't look like dinosaurs at all.
They are dinosaurs, all right. They just like walk. They walk
this is
through.
A Turok, all right.
They walk through the middle of the map and like stomp on the ground. So like all these buildings are broken, and they've kind of changed the middle of the map. So like the outsides where people usually land are the same, but the like end game when you're running through the middle and ending up in the middle, like that part's different, which is kind of cool.
So they're trying to do like Fortnite where they're like changing parts of the map.
Right.
That's pretty cool. I am actually a fan of that concept.
Yeah, I just wish more of it had changed. Like having the middle change is good because the middle was kind of just like a boring section anyways in the past. But there's still parts on the like the very outside of the map that we never dropped to because it's just like not a fun place to go. Like the far corners are just like meh. Not really gonna mess with it. If we drop around the edges, it's like very specific places. It's like they're Apex is saying they're not going into crunch. They're not going to put extra developers on it to really push like the Fortnite schedule where they have updates every week. But it's like I hope we don't see a long gap if I continue to play Apex. That is between the next map change and like kind of changing things up. And it's something I was talking to Jamaican about as we played. Because we were talking about kind of Blackout, how they had the different maps from different CODs. So it's like you get a little nostalgia in areas. So it's like, oh, I want to drop there because it's a little nostalgic and I just like that map before. But imagine like a BR map that the drops were more modular. So it's like those areas don't change, but where they are in the map rotates. So it's like the same 9. Let's just say there's 9. It's like a 3x3 essentially.
Yeah. I see what you're saying.
And all those are unique, but every time you drop, they're just like swapped around on the map.
Located in different places.
Yeah, it's like I think that'd be, I don't know how well that would do, but I think that'd be an interesting way to take on the map.
I would think as a casual terrible player that wouldn't change that much, but I'm sure once like the map starts closing in, it would totally matter on which places are in which spots on the map. And according to like terrain surrounding those areas. That's an interesting concept though.
Yeah, I just like to mix up the variety because people are like, oh, I'm so tired of dropping at the same places.
Like,
it's like
construction sites always here, but suddenly like construction's like
it's like
in the corner somewhere. You're like, whoa, what? That's actually kind of new.
You might like be bored of dropping in this area just because it's in this one specific spot and you're tired of running all the way across the map. But if that one construction site was then on the other side of the map in the jungle instead of the desert, it's like maybe that would be enough of a change to be like, oh, I'm interested to see what that's like. And even like a 3x3, just the possible combinations, I forget the math behind there, but even that's like a stupid amount of different possibilities that you can have. And then these maps are obviously more than 9 different spots. There's like 20.
Yeah.
There's a lot of like terrain generation that you would have to do and map out, obviously. It would be a pain in the ass, I'm sure, to develop, but if we keep seeing BRs pop up, I would like, instead of trying to be like, oh, let's fit more people on the server or introduce class-based systems, just like do more map change stuff. Like mix up, instead of having different maps entirely like PUBG did, just have more changing elements on the map.
Yeah, I think I've thought that before too. It's like, why do you have to have a whole new map?
Mm-hmm.
Like, why can't you like randomize, like procedurally generate a map to some extent? That might be fun as like a different mode for any BR, really. Just like, hey, you have all these assets, just like randomize them or something.
Yeah, is it?
But I'm sure it can get weird with like terrain. I don't know how that gets.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely a way if you
So,
set it up going into development, like we're gonna make all of these modular, where they kind of can fit into an area better. You can make that work. 'Cause if you just like look at like Prey Moon Crash is an example I'll go back to, because it's the area, the map layout is always the same, but the rooms have different takes. Like there's different environmental hazards in it, and different enemies spawn in and stuff like that. It's like you don't have to completely procedurally generate the map and have it completely fresh every time, but it's like just change little things, like put this building over there instead. Just like, so it feels like a fresh adventure instead of just, all right, we're dropping construction site for the 100th time today. I hope we survive.
Yeah. I wonder if has there been any BR that's like all within like a constructed city? Like there's no terrain, there's no grass, there's no hills. Because I feel like it would be much easier to do something like that in like a setting where it's just buildings, just like maybe it's like a technical city where it's like just buildings and stairs and stuff like that. I wonder if that's like a game design thing where it's like people like environments and hills and grass and
I mean,
trees.
like a lot of that stuff you could even just leave alone, like the parts in between, like have like a 1x1 grid, but like a circle in the middle is the part they pop out. So like the trees and the forest between them is all the same, but just the buildings located there.
Oh, that'd be good.
Are different.
Something like that.
I don't think there's ever been a BR that's strictly in a city. I was thinking back to some of the earlier like DayZ stuff and War Z, if anybody remembers that, before it spun off to whatever it was called afterwards.
Yeah, no, that has forests and shit too.
And there's a lot of like big cities, like you can roam around and go down like streets and stuff.
Yeah,
but there's still a lot of running around forest and all that stuff as well.
I want a sci-fi battle royale. That's all like a big dystopian city. Then you could really RNG it up. We should be game designers.
Yeah.
We should be the idea guys.
The idea guys. Mm-hmm. We'll call it Turok BR. We'll have, instead of giant circles, it's going to be dinosaurs, like velociraptors that just slowly creep in around the map.
That'd be amazing. Oh my god.
There you go.
Dude, the raptor scene in the kitchen from Jurassic Park. Scariest shit. Just make a BR that's like that.
I just always think it's Jurassic Park 3, where he's having a dream. He's just like, Alan, you see the raptor.
I haven't watched that movie in so long.
Just Google Jurassic Park Alan, and you'll find it.
Jurassic Park Alan.
I'm sure the clip's going to be the first result. It's great. Infestation Survivor Stories, yes. That game that I believe got sued because of the book World War Z and the movie coming out, and then the World War Z game eventually. A lot of fun stuff.
Okay, I do remember this scene now. The raptor.
Yeah.
Alan, wake up.
It's so good.
That's dumb. That's so dumb. God damn it. Jesus.
But before we wrap up this week's episode, you got any plans for the next week? Saint, anything you're doing? I know you've been getting back to speedruns, doing some Pedro stuff. Got any more plans along those lines?
I've been speedrunning my friend Pedro. That's a okay game to speedrun. It's pretty cool. The community's also pretty neat and friendly. Other than that, no, just working on some secret videos. Considering not making them secret, I don't know if that's like a good thing for my brand. Maybe I should advertise that I'm working on videos more. But I posted a picture online that I'm back on my bullshit editing, and people could see, like, I purposely included, people could see some of the clips I was working with. One of them has to do with Tekken. That's one of my videos. That's all I'll say about that. Okay. And is based on MMO. It's the Tekken one is kind of a warm up video, and the MMO one is kind of my next big boy video that I'm putting a lot of work into.
Okay.
And then I'm doing my friend Pedro on the side just to like kind of
Oh, are you now?
just kind of like my the speedrunning is like okay, I'm done editing for now. I just want to do some speedrun practice. Just what about you, BT? What you up to this next week or so?
Still getting back in the Doom 3. It's been going pretty well, although I had a stream I guess Monday night, where Doom 3 did not want to cooperate with me. Had some nasty bugs happen on really good runs that I basically couldn't continue, and they were over. So it's like, I'm getting better. I'm getting to the points if I can get a run going that doesn't. I had one crash on the second to last level's load screen. So I was going into the second to last level, and it crashed on the load, so it didn't save going into it. So it put me back 4 minutes, and it's like, well, that's run over.
Well, those are on, yeah.
And then I was through the hell map, which is about like 60-70% of the way through the game, I'd say. And the boss's hitbox and health somehow transformed into the floor. So he was impossible to... His model was still walking around, but you couldn't shoot his health. Like, he has a portal above him that you shoot, and that damages him. Somehow that got clipped into the floor. Wait, yeah, I don't know.
What? Wait. His model is there.
Right.
So you can't shoot his health bar?
So normally the boss, he walks around, he's like a dinosaur, and he has a giant blue portal. He has a giant blue portal above his head. Once you kill sentinels, which are like flying enemies, it turns red and you can shoot it to do damage. Somehow that portal was on the ground floor. So he was still walking around just fine, but that portal and things flying around were basically clipped into the floor. Despite killing them, it turned red, and I shot it, but it never did any damage for whatever reason. And it's just, he physically couldn't die because his health wasn't where it's supposed to be. For like I said, I don't know. I've never seen it happen. I haven't asked anybody, but I'm assuming it's not something that happens often. So I just killed a run. That was the head by like a minute. It's just like, if I can get through the game without that happening again, I'll probably get some PVs. Dealing with more OBS tech stuff. Some of the stuff broke as I figured it probably would. So anytime I try anything with OBS, it's like, it works perfectly fine if I'm just doing local stuff, but hit stream button, everything breaks. So I got a list of things I need to fix for that. It should be fun.
Yeah, sounds fun.
Awesome. I kind of had an itch to pick up another game for a run, which I kind of mentioned as well.
Turok?
Not Turok.
Oh, okay.
Although I might pick up this new Turok as a speed run. Who knows?
Yeah, fight iconic bosses.
But there was one day, I think it was Monday, when some of that stuff was happening tech-wise. It was like, you know what? Maybe tonight I shouldn't play Turok. Or, God damn it. I shouldn't play Doom 3. I should just play something else. But I was like, I'm just going to commit to it because I need to get it done. And I shouldn't play Turok, that's for sure. That's for damn sure.
What? Grape candy over here.
Yeah, but it's like, just waiting. Just because Doom 3 stuff needs to come first, at least for the moment. Because there's some stuff with that. Hopefully soon can talk about why that is, but for now I can't. Secret stuff, great for the brand as always.
Sneaky secrets.
But yeah, and then Wolfenstein, waiting for that to come out in a couple weeks.
Youngblood. Oh, cool. That's soon?
Yep, comes out 27th, 26th, 27th.
Independence Day, July 27th.
What?
Can't wait. What?
Independence Day on 27th? What country are you in?
July 20 something. Oh, it doesn't have a release date on Google.
On Google Stadia?
No, on Google Stadia. Yep, July 26th.
It's kind of what I've been up to. Just
2 weeks.
Trying to do more Doom 3 stuff. Taking some time off when I don't feel like it, and just kind of chilling with Apex because I'm. Oh, and I also went through and highlighted it. Everything I did in May, which was 211 games. Apparently, I missed one game. I found that out.
You fucked it all up.
It was a 7-minute game I did called Beetle something. I don't even fucking remember. I can't remember it now. I couldn't remember it then. Completely skipped over it when I was doing the game count. I didn't track it at all, and it just slipped through the cracks. The actual count was 211 games.
It's like you don't even care.
But went through and highlighted all of those on Sunday night, which took all day. It was terrible, but at least Twitch's highlighting system is decent. I can take an 18-hour thing and chop it up in 15 VODs on one page and then export all of those.
That's nice.
Which it didn't used to be that way. You had to do one highlight at a time, export it, and then open it back up and highlight the next one. Which, dear God, if I had to do that.
Back in my day.
But Twitch, for anyone that doesn't know, has collections, which are like playlists on any other site or any other app. They call them collections, and they can only have 100 vids attached to them. So I had to create 2 different collections to house all the stuff, which is a nightmare.
Jesus.
And the UI for collections is also really weird because once you click on a collection, it takes you to the first video, like you're going to watch the highlight of it. And you click on the upper left corner of the video to scroll through all the other ones instead of like going to a page where you can see all the videos in the collection. I haven't really found a way to be able to do that, and I don't think it exists, which is kind of annoying. Which would just make it easy, but yeah, it's Twitch for you. If anyone wants to watch those 211 games, they're out there on my Twitch collections.
I'll be doing it.
Yep, there's some Turok playthroughs in there. Actually, there's Turok 1 and Turok 2.
I'm down.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in. That's all you need to say.
Yeah.
Jeez. Should have opened with that.
Oh yeah, let's redo the podcast. Wiping fresh. Starting the Turok podcast now.
3 more beers. Hold on.
Changing this to Blood Saint and Turok.
Turok, and Turok.
There we go. But I think that's going to wrap it up for this week's episode. Blood Saint and beers. We got to go take some baths so we can sell our bath water to you guys. $50 a pop. But we'll have more news on that next week. Thank you for watching and hanging out. You can find us on Google, Stadia, Google Play, iTunes, Spotify, YouTube. You can just go to bloodsaintandbeers.com if you want to find links to any of those things. Videos go up the day after. Usually they go up on Wednesday, but we're a day late today for this week. Which I'm going to blame Turok for. Our Lord and Savior Turok. And yeah, we'll see you guys next week. Once again, thank you for watching. See you then. Good night.
Peace.